All right, quick update. No piggies yet. So 114, 116 day gestation. She's at 114 days today. Earlier when I was out here, and I'm not going to go out there and bother her right now, she had not let down any milk. She was not able, I wasn't able to express any milk from her, but she's definitely getting milk lines, more engorged milk lines so far. And I put some more hay and stuff out here for her, and she's kind of nested in both places there. So we'll just kind of see what goes on. I'm thinking if she doesn't farrow tonight, she'll definitely do it tomorrow, I would hope, because she's pretty miserable. Aren't you, Coke? Poor thing. She's as big as a daggone house. I know she's miserable, especially with the heat that we've been having, the humidity and everything. Meat chickens, got them turned, got them moved coming back this way now. We did that the other night, and I was planning on processing them the end of last weekend in July, but I was watching Ryan Hall y'all on YouTube, and he's calling for like an extremely hot weekend that weekend, so we decided we'd put it off until August the 5th. Hi, big girl, what you doing? Say hi to everybody. Be a YouTube star. Be a YouTube star. Huh? Where's your buddy Pee-wee? Pee-wee has definitely taken to the woods. Peppa is teaching him how to be a pig, and I absolutely love that. I've not seen Pee-wee any farther out of his pen here, and it's opening. I mean, it's open for him, than just like right here and right here. And day before yesterday, they were both over by the house in the paddock over there, and he was munching down, having a good old time. So that made me really happy. She's getting him out, teaching him how to be a pig, how to root and stuff like that. So good stuff. I definitely got to come out here with the weed whacker and do some fence maintenance and stuff like that. But you know what? It's still putting electricity out. It's still shocking. And in this heat and humidity, I'm not doing it. I don't care. We got a big old great mullein plant right there in our berry bed. And I tell you what, I couldn't have been happier with that, because I've already harvested a bunch of the smaller leaves there a couple, about 10 days ago. I harvested a bunch of the leaves and stuff and put them in the dehydrator. So I'm going to have me some mullein tea to see if I can get this rest of this junk out of my lungs. And they say you can take the flowers and make a cough syrup out of it. Can't make a cough medicine, but I'm going to have to dig into that a little deeper, because, well, that thing's starting to flower out. From the one that I seen just briefly, there's way too much sugar in that for that to be an effective cough syrup. And I'm sure there's a better way of doing that without injecting yourself with that much daggone sugar. I mean, good Lord. All right, so I sit here on tractor and talk to you for a few minutes. Still waiting on the well guy to show back up to put the pump and the pressure tank in, and set the hydrant so I can get the water sample. Hopefully he gets here this week. I'd really love for him to get here this week. My patience is just about completely gone. I hate being dependent on somebody else. But it's not like I can do it. I mean, I could do it myself, but part of the grant program and process is that they do it all. So, I mean, I could kind of offset that and do it myself if I wanted to, but I've never done it. I'm sure I can find a YouTube video on it somewhere, but I just prefer to go ahead and let them do it, and that way they're responsible for it should something go wrong. And my dumb ass doesn't drop a well pump 220 feet to the bottom. So they get that done. I'll get the water sample, get it sent off, and in the meantime, while we're waiting on that, I'll get the soil samples done for the high tunnel. And once the water samples come back and they come up and certify it, we'll go ahead and order the high tunnel and get it here and get it start building on it. So not a whole lot of new information here just in the last couple days, but we're just kind of static right now, waiting on all that to come through. If you haven't seen the new data that's out there, Sucralose, one of the popular brand names of Splenda, not stevia, Splenda, is now found, studies are showing it to be genotoxic or damaging to human DNA. Thank you, FDA, for allowing that product on the market for as long as it's been on the market, with no long-term human studies to show dangers or anything like that. And not that we've ever known the FDA not to, demand that we have good long-term studies on human safety and efficacy. But yeah. So yeah, if you are a Splenda user or use Sucralose in any other name, it is genotoxic damaging to human DNA. So I would avoid that at all costs. Also, there's some stuff coming up that I've been doing a little bit of reading on, and man, I'm telling you, especially in Appalachia, I'm gonna get smacked for this one. Tinfoil, aluminum foil. You guys know aluminum is neurotoxic, right? It's neurotoxic. We've been baking on and cooking on and grilling on aluminum foil for decades now. And you know, when you heat something like that up, you introduce that into the food. So you know, look at our dementia rates, our Parkinson's rates, all of our other neurological illnesses that seem to manifest. We seem to have so much more of today. So I would tell you to be very cautious with using tinfoil. I would opt to using parchment paper, or just cast iron or stainless steel in the interim until you decide whether you're going to continue to use tinfoil. I know a lot of folks on here will say, well, my grandma used it and she lived to be 105. She didn't know nobody and lost both her legs and wore a diaper, but she lived to be 105. So take that into consideration. Aluminum, yes, a known neurotoxin. If you use deodorant or more specifically antiperspirant that has aluminum in it, don't do that. You know, find you just a deodorant, or even a natural type of deodorant that would take its place. I mean, hell, we all sweat. I sweat on here all the time. I ain't got no hair on my head, so it just pours off of me. And I've actually found one that I can use now. I've reacted to so many different ones. Actually, Dr. Squatch and I really can't stand their commercials and stuff like that, but I tried it and I can tolerate it, and it has none of the bad stuff in it. On top of that, aluminum being that bad, plastic is another thing that I'm real soon to be deplasticizing my house, especially when it involves cookware, storage containers and stuff like that for food products. That stuff's going to be going down the road. We'll stick with more, you know, stainless steel, glass and things like that. Just kind of get that crap out of our home and get that exposure and those levels way down. And I know I talk about our food safety a lot. Guys, you just got to understand that's my background is healthcare, chronic health management, and chronic illness management, and nutrition has become more so over the last couple of years. But food safety, man, you got to look at the things around you and look at the root causes of what we see today. And we know that our supply chain, our food supply chain, that we go to the grocery store and we buy all those you know, familiar name brands that's been around for, you know, the better part of a century or more, and man, it ain't what it used to be. 1960, the onset of what they refer to as modern agriculture practices. Now, since 1960, human beings have changed their way of eating more since 1960 than we did in the previous 10,000 years. So all you got to do is look at a graph to see where things start and how they kind of line up with how things change. So this is the new method of how we're going to do things. Here's the new plastics. Here's, you know, tinfoil. Okay, so here's diabetes, here's autism, here's ADHD, here's Parkinson's, here's dementia, here's, yeah, all that good stuff. And you can just literally line them up side by side and just follow it. It's so scary to see that stuff. And it just enrages me, because we've got these federal agencies, and I deal with quiet quitters all the time. God, I hate quiet quitters. People, you got a daggone job to do your daggone job. Dedicate your 8.5 hours a day. Do your job. After that, I don't care how much you bitch, complain, whine, moan, or do anything else. But the 8.5 hours a day that you're at your job, do your daggone job. And because there's people who depend on these agencies, who depend on these services and stuff like that. And the last thing they need is somebody out there half-assed and not doing their work. So there's my PSA for the day. Don't half-ass it. Do your work. Do your job. But, you know, we deal with it all the time. And, you know, bordering on incompetency versus laziness versus quiet quitting versus people who just don't care. I mean, we actually discovered a system that they use for reporting, where they farm the numbers. They get the mine of numbers from the data. And we discovered that the data was corrupt, and not like maliciously corrupt. It was wrong. it was wrong across the board. And we looked at it from a national perspective. We started within our own hospital. We looked at the VISN level, which encompasses like 5, 6, 7 different hospitals. And then we looked at it at a national level, and it was wrong completely across the board. And the national quality manager, this is the guy who pulls the numbers and reports the numbers as he gets them, said, well, you guys may have just discovered a national issue. Good luck figuring it out. I was like, what? Dude, this is your responsibility. I just presented you with a damn problem. Your stuff is wrong, and you're telling me good luck in figuring it out? That's your responsibility. Nope. And of course, they're not holding anybody responsible for it, but they're coming down on those of us whose the numbers reflect badly on, even though they're corrupt numbers, and we've completely dismantled them. So there's your federal government in a nutshell. That there's a principle out there. It's called the Peter Principle, and it's a true principle. You can look it up. And basically, the gist of it is someone is promoted to their highest level of incompetence. And I can tell you that it is used widely and often. So I laugh at it just because it's so ridiculous. But anyways, so, look at your different sources where your information comes from, compare it, contrast it to other sources, and make your own decisions from that. Don't listen to, cult followings on YouTube and million subscriber, 100 million subscribers. These people, it's I'm not going to sit and talk bad about them. I'm not going to, sit there and bash them. I'm not going to get in a pissing contest or a pecker and measuring contest with anybody on social media or YouTube. But I'm going to tell you something. Take what you hear with a grain of salt. Do your own research. Slip off of Google, go to Firefox. Slip off of Firefox, go to DuckDuckGo. Or even, choose a different search engine than just Google. Microsoft Edge, Google Chrome, or, something like that. And I'm going to tell you something. You're going to find different results for what you put in there on each one of those platforms. And it's the way that they're set up. You're going to get the most jackbooted, compliant bootlickers on probably Google and Bing and Google Chrome and Microsoft Edge than you are like on DuckDuckGo or Firefox. So I'll tell you, use alternative sites, alternative search engines, because that's where you're going to get the different information with valid resources to show you that what you're getting from one is not always what it is. And definitely don't take everything as gospel from someone on YouTube who's waving papers around and sharing news clips of this and news clips of that, because we know, if anything, in the last, since 2016, if the media isn't biased in reporting what they want you to hear and hiding what they don't want you to hear. Oh, look, UFOs, we're going to declassify. There's aliens, there's UFOs. Meanwhile, there's cocaine in the White House. There's criminal family stuff going on with the president, the leader of the free world. Money laundering. There's kickbacks. There's bribes. There's So, aliens, UFOs. Look over here. Look over here. And just for the record, I think both parties are full of shit. Left, right, doesn't matter. Same left wing, right wing, same shit ass bird. That's just how it goes. And I like to think of myself as someone who's evolved past left or right. I'm more of an independent, libertarian, conservative, constitutionalist, federalist type of whatever. But anything is better than our current forms of government and the practices that they implement. But anyways, like I said, I have stumbled upon a wealth of information on YouTube shared by people who have the intent of sharing good knowledge, good information to teach others how to, be a homesteader, how to raise food, how to process animals, how to be, more independent, how to do more for yourself. All right, guys, you can learn just about anything on YouTube these days. And that is a skill that just you can't, or that's a resource that you can't overlook and you can't dismiss. But you have to be careful with some of the people who put the content on YouTube and any biases that they may have, because it's become evident with some of them, and I don't want you guys getting the wrong information. I mean, I'll share with you my knowledge and my experiences in a long, career, and the stuff that I find and I research and stuff like that. But I do that just as here's a source, okay? And I'm going to tell you, don't take anything that I say as gospel or as medical advice. I'm telling you, this is information that I run across, I research, and I wouldn't share it if I couldn't validate it. And I can validate it, and I've got physical patients and numbers that can prove that what I tell you and what I teach works. But I encourage you guys to research on your own. Look, like I said, get on different platforms, different search engines, and do the same search, and you're going to get completely different data all the way across. In the end, just don't fall into a cult following. And honest to goodness, that's about the only way I can describe some of this stuff on here. I mean, I've got 970 followers. Subscribers. That's great. I appreciate that, and I love for people to like and share, and smash that like button and hit that notification bell and share our channel and leave us a comment. You notice I rarely do that anymore. But you know what? It's just a matter of sharing information, sharing a journey, and so hopefully inspiring other people and letting other people realize that, yes, even with a full-time job, even with, waking up during the pandemic and getting my eyes opened and wanting to do better for my family and wanting to do better for our food, not only safety and nutrition, but security. I learned a lot of it on YouTube, so I'm sharing this with you guys, and hopefully, you have the ability or seeking the ability to do the same. And anything that I put out there, if it's helpful, that's all I could ask for, is if it helps somebody. If somebody says, hey, you know what, that's good information, or he can do it, I can do it. That's all I could ever ask for on this channel. But tonight I will ask you to smash that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave us a comment, share with like-minded people. No, I won't. Yeah, I appreciate it if you would. I really would, but you don't have to. Like I said, I hope this information is helpful. Just more of a homestead farmer vlog who's trying to do better and trying to do right by his kids, his family, and honoring my ancestors and stuff, and trying to grow more and more of my own food for my own family, with a little modern twist on old ways. And that's it. So, as always, and as usual, get and stay prepared, stay free. God bless you all.